Babysitter told she heard a really weird noise from my wife's room when I left the party. I feel so hopelessly alone and isolated right now, and I desperately want to talk to someone, so I am turning to you. I apologize if this is rambling. My wife, 34F, and I, 34M, have been married for 8 years, and together for 12. We have 2 young kids together, boy 6, girl 4. I am a lawyer, and my wife is a stay-at-home mom. She is a lawyer as well, but has been home with the kids since our first was born. She is taking steps to start working again this year since both kids are now in school. Nearly all of our friends are couples that are parents of kids that go to school with our kids. All are well-educated / well-off professionals with steady lives. We went out last night for a 40th birthday party with 3 other couples. One couple we are very close with. We family vacation together, hang out with them multiple times a week, etc. They both work jobs that only require them to work 2 to 3 days a week. They are active and participate in triathlons. My wife, and now me, have joined them in doing triathlons. They have time to train daily based on their job schedules, and my wife typically joins them training during her free time while kids are at school. Typically 1 to 2 days with the wife, 1 to 2 days with the husband, and maybe 1 to 2 days all 3 during a given week. Back to the birthday party, everyone was drinking heavily. My wife and I drink quite a bit. The other couple drinks more than us. Around 1 a.m., I tell my wife and the group that I am going home because I am extremely tired / intoxicated. My wife tells me she is going to stay with everyone because she is having a good time. I didn't think this was a big deal. I took an Uber home and went to bed. I woke up in the morning and my wife never came home. She had apparently Ubered to the other couple's house with them and crashed there around 3 a.m. For today, I had booked a spa day for her for Christmas that she was going to use today. I watched the kids all day, etc. She came home in the morning and everything seemed fine. She went to the spa, but came home hours before I expected her, back bawling in tears. My first thought was that she got in a car crash or someone in her family passed away. Instead, I'm told she kissed the other husband last night, but has no memory of the event. Apparently, their babysitter fell asleep on their couch and heard my wife and the husband in the guest bedroom where my wife was apparently sleeping. The babysitter told the other wife she heard them in the bedroom, but the other wife did not ask for details. The wife told the husband, who in turn told me wife while she was at the spa. The husband apparently has no memory of the event either, but was of course certain it was just a quick innocent kiss that was a mistake. My wife is certain it was just a kiss, but yet remembers 0 details and has provided a couple extremely minor but contradictory details of the event. I called the other wife to get her take. We were obviously both stunned and shocked. I got the babysitter's information because my wife wasn't / couldn't tell me any details. If into the security recordings you go, only pain with you find. The babysitter told me she was half asleep, but woke up a bit when they all came in. Later, she heard sex noises / slapping, etc., and assumed it was the couple. One of their kids made a noise at some point, and the babysitter got up and saw the other wife sleeping alone. She was extremely distressed and left in the middle of the night. She was certain this was more than kissing and they had sex. I hung up before getting any more details as I wanted to vomit. Now I have gaslighting to add to this mess. The idea that the babysitter could overhear kissing in a bedroom made no sense to me when I first heard it, and I told my wife I didn't understand / believe it. Talking to the babysitter of course confirmed what I initially expected, although she is still adamant they didn't have sex. I think she is just willing that to be the truth at this point. All the working out with another man did bother me on some base level, but I brushed that off as unwarranted jealousy. My wife's mom even made a comment to her at some point about how I felt about the situation. About a month ago, after another long night of drinking, she had her hand on his back at a bar because he looked like he was about to fall asleep, but right in front of all 4 of us. When we got home, I told her that I found it extremely disrespectful. We were both very intoxicated at the time. If you told me they have been carrying this on for months, I would believe you. The opportunity obviously exists. If you told me this was a one-time duck-up, I would believe that too. I'd say there was a borderline emotional affair, with building sexual tension, and it culminated last night. My head is spinning right now with every horrible emotion you can think of. I want to call the babysitter again to get more details, because I freaked out and hung up after a few seconds. I am in a very dark place right now. I trusted my wife completely. I thought the foundation of our marriage was completely unbreakable. I thought we both completely loved each other. I've always treated her as a princess and with the utmost dignity, respect. I thought our marriage was good. I did my best to be best husband and father I could be. Most of our friends looked to us a perfect couple. Little do they know now. The biggest issue we've had in our relationship was I've told her over the course of the last couple years that our sex life has become routine and robotic to a certain degree. These issues existed before this other couple came on the scene. We still have sex 1 to 2 times a week, and it's always pretty good, although formulaic. Like a script/playbook. I want more novelty/variety. She thought our sex life was incredible, so nothing really changed, although she said she would work on it. I assumed many guys go through this as their marriages go on, so I certainly didn't see it as an end. Is this all related? Probably, maybe. I have no idea. Does she secretly hate being a stay-at-home mom and this made her feel alive? I have no clue. My wife has profusely apologized all day. She cried all day. She says she loves me in our marriage. She has been extremely remorseful. She's saying the right things. Is she sorry it happened or that she got caught? Who knows? She says nothing caused her to do this, as was just a horrible mistake. We both know that something deep down caused her to do this, and being drunk is obviously no excuse. I told her she needs to quit drinking for a while, which she agreed. Her drinking has slowly increased last 3 months. She threw up after New Year's and the Super Bowl, which I haven't seen her do in many, many years. And now we have this. Probably all connected. She agreed to cut off all contact with the husband, which will be extremely tricky, because of all the school issues. She says she would do marriage counseling if that's what I wanted. She says she will do anything to save our marriage. But she's adamant it was just a kiss, but yet doesn't know for sure/remember. Reddit, where the duck do I go from here? My heart breaks for my kids. I feel like running as far away and never returning, but part of me wants to salvage it. I don't know what to do about the gaslighting. My head is spinning. The emotional toll and burden this has taken on me feels insurmountable. Like there is no way I can overcome it or get past it. My eyes popped out of my head when I saw this at my cheating wife's bag. She thinks she could blatantly lie to me, but I gathered all the proof and she will blow over by what I've prepared for her. My wife and I have been together for 3 years, but have only been married for 3 months. During our relationship, we've taken care to cultivate good communication habits and typically communicate openly and honestly, which is why the events of the past 2 weeks have me concerned. My wife works for a foreign manufacturer, HQ'd in her home country, and helps manage a facility here in the States. She's salaried, and works typical 8 to 5 hours. For the past month and a half or so, she's been working longer hours, occasionally coming home as late as 8 to 8:30 p.m. This in itself isn't abnormal. The owners take roughly 4 to 5 months a year to handle their offices abroad, leaving the local plant thin on managers, during which my wife tends to pick up the slack. First incident. 2 weeks ago, during the week of the 16-22 we made plans to meet up with one of my friends and his wife for dinner. A few days after making plans, my wife informs me that one of her co-workers is going back to their HQ in her home country, and that the company will be throwing a going-away party for him around 6 p.m. on Saturday, which she would like to attend. I thought nothing of it and told her that was fine, as my friend had informed me that some family issues had come up with his wife, and she probably wouldn't attend dinner either, making it just him and me. My wife went to the party wearing an outfit that I thought was too revealing for co-workers, but after a brief discussion, I told her I trusted her judgment, said she looked good, and went to dinner with my friend. I got back around 10 p.m. and she wasn't home. I sent her a text to check in. Eventually, I fell asleep waiting for her to get back, only to wake up alone at 2:30 a.m., still without a response from her. This was abnormal, But around 4 a.m., she finally texted, saying that her phone had died, the party had gone on a bit, they'd all gone bowling, parties like this were typical back home, etc. She got home around 5 and was very sweet and apologetic that she'd worried me. First red flags. About 2 days later, as we were going to bed, I could tell she was perturbed and asked her if something was bothering her. She launched a small tirade about how she was upset at me for always wanting to know where she was, that she felt I was too clingy lately, that she was more extroverted than I was and needed to be around people more than I do, that she understood that I grew up in a close family where we always checked in with each other but her dad never cared when her mom stayed out until 4 a.m., etc. I reassured her that I trusted her and I just wanted to make sure she was safe since staying out after 11 p.m. was completely abnormal in the context of our relationship, and that I absolutely didn't want to smother her and had no problem with her going out with her friends. I also told her that I felt I'd had very little personal time with her lately since she was working so late and that if I was being clingy, it wasn't intentional, I just missed having her at home in the evening and didn't want our relationship to drift. We made plans to go out for some quality time the next weekend, and that was that. I feel it is important to note, at this point, that her mother has admitted to being unfaithful to her father, and that my wife has admitted to affairs in her previous relationships. I absolutely avoided that subject during our discussion. The next morning, she apologized, repeated that she was grateful for me and our relationship, thanked me for understanding her and, apropos of nothing, reassured me that there wasn't a single person at work I needed to worry about her cheating with and that she loved me. Second incident. On Wednesday, she sends me a presentation and asks for my assistance with the grammar, since business English is trickier for her than conversational English. That evening, she tells me that she's giving a presentation on Thursday to the first and second shifts at the plant, and that on Friday, she'll be going in around 8 p.m. to give the presentation to third shift, which starts at 11 p.m. She also mentions that it's her coworkers' last weekend in the States, and that she'll be going out for drinks with them after taking some time to interview third shift and discuss morale with them. She goes out to get a mani-pedi on Friday afternoon, and heads into the office that evening. I think nothing of it, and sleep more comfortably than the previous weekend. The next morning, I get up around 9:30 a.m., give her a kiss, tell her that, wow, she looks great this morning, tease her for sleeping with her makeup on, and go cook breakfast. My car has been in the shop, so I gently wake her up so we can go pick it up before the shop closes. She eats with me, showers, and drives me to the shop. She felt distant that morning, but I shrug it off as lack of coffee, and get the following details out of her about the previous night. The presentation went well, she stayed at work until about 1:30 a.m., then went out to drink with her coworkers, but the party was winding down so she got home around 3:30 a.m. and went straight to bed. She shuts down most of my attempts at conversation, so I let it go assuming she's still tired and not in the mood to chat. She asks if I want her to follow me home, and mentions that she needs to stop at the grocer on the way home for toothpaste, since we're out. I laugh, since I was thinking of doing the same thing, tell her she can follow me most of the way but not to worry about it, and go home to clean the garage. She shows up around 20 to 30 minutes later while I'm cleaning the garage, and I go to greet her. She's got her work bag, which she left in the car the previous night, and a bag from Walgreens that contains toothpaste. She stays pretty distant the whole day, goes out to meet another friend, but I'm arms deep in car maintenance and garage cleaning and don't have time to think about it. We go out for dinner and a movie that evening, but she's still distant and less bubbly than normal. The next day, she goes out shopping, and I go back into the garage to continue my work. I remember that it's the end of the month, and pull out my phone to pay the rent and check our accounts. The first thing that catches my eye is a $50 charge from Walgreens on our debit card. I know she only brought home toothpaste and get a really bad feeling in my gut. I go to check the receipt, to see if I need to call the credit fraud department. The bag from Walgreens is at the top of the plastic bag storage bucket, but suspiciously, there's no receipt. I'm not proud of what I did next, but I went to her office to see if maybe she just got some new makeup or something and notice a recently opened blister package at the top of the trash, but nothing in the can or on her desk that fits the empty plastic and no packaging to indicate what was in it. I took a peek inside her work bag and there it was, an empty box of Plan B and the missing receipt. I took pictures, archived them to my private account, and immediately left the house to clear my head. After I calmed myself down, I came to 3 possible conclusions. 1. She had unprotected contact with a coworker, willingly. 2. She had unprotected contact with a coworker, unwillingly, and isn't ready to tell me yet. 3. She's afraid of getting pregnant from the last time we had unprotected contact, which was approximately 2.5 weeks ago, on the last day of her period, and doesn't understand how Plan B or ovulation works. Unlikely, IMO. When she got home, she slept most of the afternoon. I did my best to act normally, and continued my work in the garage. We went to the pool later that night. She noticed I was out of sorts, but since I've been having nonstop car troubles for a few weeks, it made a convenient excuse. She gradually became more chipper over the evening, and since she slept all afternoon, I went to bed first. While she was in her office reading, I noticed that the outfit she wore on Friday night was still on the floor, underwear tangled in the leg seat of her jeans, and took a closer look. I saw what appeared to be someone's white crust, but may have been normal female discharge. I took pictures anyway, archived, and went to bed. She came to bed an hour later, back to her chipper self, telling me profusely how much she loved me, and this morning, she seemed back to normal. The SOS. Ladies and gents, I am at a complete loss as to what to do. I know I need to confront her or this is going to continue to eat me up inside, but I need advice on how to do so. I feel awful for suspecting that she's cheated on me, but even worse knowing that she tried going behind my back. Any help or feedback on how to deal with the situation and how to deal with my personal turmoil is welcome. Thank you. Edit. I'm currently working through my what ifs to steel myself for the inevitable and will have a conversation with her soon. Prior to that, however, I will be reaching out to lawyers in my area to see what their specific legal advice for our state is. And I would like to say specifically to the people handing out the tough love about her past. 1. I know, and that was a doubt I had myself, and my brain is kicking my heart right now. 2. It is very difficult to remain rational when you and your partner have actively helped each other become better people and get through difficult situations over the past few years. 3. I do appreciate the tough love, even if it tastes bitter. Update. Anyhow, I got home last night and received a text from my wife letting me know that she wouldn't be home for dinner and would be going out for drinks with coworkers instead. I asked where they would be eating, and she named an easy-to-find restaurant near her workplace. I immediately called the restaurant. Lo and behold, no group call-aheads from the company or the coworker leading the event. Time for a stakeout. So I hopped in my car and drove to her workplace. Her car wasn't there when I arrived, so I took a few pictures and headed to the restaurant. She wasn't there either. I waited around for a little bit, checked inside the restaurant to destroy that last nagging bit of hope, then headed home. The confession. When she got home, I asked her how her evening was. She fed me some lies, and I opened the confrontation by telling her I loved and appreciated how we always communicated openly and honestly with each other, and asked her to tell me where she was, but this time to tell the truth. She protested, so I told her about my evening and asked her again. She confessed that she was out with another man. I asked if she did it with him. She denied it. I told her I knew she was still lying to me, and she broke down and confessed everything, confirming my suspicions. Final thoughts. The good news out of all this is that the affair was recent enough that I shouldn't be at risk for any STDs. I'm still getting tested this afternoon and following up in a few months to be absolutely safe. I slept well last night, and I feel surprisingly great this morning, all things considered. I'm reaching back out to my lawyer once the law offices open up. I'm not sure if I'll be following up on this post at this point, so apologies in advance if you don't get closure on your lingering questions. I came to my cheating girlfriend's house to make her surprise, but I was shocked what I saw there. I go to her house, as a surprise, just to spend time watching TV and stuff. It's in the evening and sunset, so no light is really in the house when I go in through the garage. As I walk in, lights are off for the most part, but I look down the hall and see a dim light coming in from the cracks of her bedroom door. As I step closer, I can hear what's going on, so I peer in the crack of the door and see her going down on some dude. My blood is boiling. But I had severe anger issues years ago and learned to control myself, learned to use my anger for other things. So I steady my heart rate, walk away from the door, not making a noise. They never knew I was looking. I walk into the living room and start pacing. Just thinking the thoughts why and how long she's been lying to me this entire time. It dawns on me. I'll wait till they're mid-fuck and tell her it's off. She's got a predictable sex routine, so I knew it would be a while before they actually started going at it. So, I walk into the kitchen, which is on the opposite side of the house. They will not be able to hear anything I do in the kitchen, unless I deliberately make noise. After this adrenaline rush, the anger, the thoughts, my stomach starts to growl. I hadn't eaten because I was planning on getting food with her so we could have dinner and a movie. So, I open the fridge. Now that I look in the fridge, the thought of food upsets me. But habits die hard, so I look in the pantry. Oh, I think to myself as I see a box of popcorn. The thought of popcorn does not upset my stomach. In fact, the thought of buttery salty goodness seems to make my belly settle. I get a bag, pop it in the microwave. Luckily she has one of those costly newer ones that are nice and quiet, but the door latch is loud, so I carefully pull the handle so it doesn't make a loud click. I cook the bag. Shake the back, open the bag, sprinkle some white cheddar stuff in it, shake it some more. Pour into a bowl, and shake some more. I stand still for a moment to see if I can still hear this guy moaning in her room from getting head. Yep, they never stopped, so they never heard me. About a minute later, I walk into the living room. I take a few bites of popcorn, then I hear the ever-waited-for sound of the bed squeak that tells me a lot of weight just shifted to the middle of the bed. Someone is writing someone. Then it dawns on me. Perfect, I think, I know what to do. Remember when I said her sex routine was predictable? Well, I know her physical ability well enough to time her noise. She isn't a screamer per se, but she can be loud. She also has an insecurity issue, so she prefers the lights off. So when I look down the hall, sure enough, no light through the bottom of the door. So, I time it. I listen to the rhythm of her moans and the squeaking of the bed. I time it so I can open the door mid-moan so they won't hear the latch. I peer in and sure enough, she's riding him like a beast, also facing the headboard, which means her back is toward the door. I back out, look down the hall, the lights are off. I open the door again mid-moan and slowly step inside. She is obscuring his line of sight to the door. I sit in a desk chair she has by the door and just start eating popcorn. It takes a minute for the smell of popcorn to fill the room. She stops, turns the nightstand light on, turns around. They see me there with one food crossed onto my knee, bowl of popcorn in hand, nodding my head. I say don't stop on account of me, just seeing if she'll do anything different for you that she wasn't going to do for me. I take a few bites of popcorn. I see the dude's eyes getting wider and wider, her face is red and full of shame. Then I say after finishing a bite of popcorn, looks like she is doing the same thing she did to me last night, quite entertaining from this angle, but I said it looking at her in such a way that I knew would trigger her insecurity. I got up, left the bowl of popcorn in the chair. Closed the bedroom door. Took the few things of mine I left at her place and walked out. Just as I'm getting my car into gear, he runs out and starts demanding to know who the hell I was. I say well, I was her BF. I apparently didn't get the memo this evening that it was over. He starts to shake like a scared dog. I didn't know she had a BF. Yeah, apparently she lies about things while putting my hand on the side of my mouth as if to cover a sore. Drove off. She sends me texts a few hours later saying things from sorry, then later, it's your fault, then apologizing again, saying it was a mistake, that dude meant nothing, to again saying it's my fault, it wouldn't have happened had I not expected to see me tonight. After that I blocked the number.